I said always that I would never create videos. Why would I be creating videos? But I would be such a wasting my time. And this is very surreal situation. I say I started to learn actually after the war here, when we lost everything. We had nice apartment, we had 2 cars, we traveled, we had like $100,000 savings. I was 30 years old. It was the war. I lost everything overnight, and I said, wow, these material things, they are absolutely not important. At the best, you put everything in your head. That could not be stolen. I was completely wrong. With this technology that are on the market, US military market, that DARPA developed, even this is not secure anymore. I am saying I have, and I show the picture in all my videos, so not to repeat. I have basically 2 cell phones implanted in my ears, because not only that I have like these nanocrystals and nanodiamond in my ear worth several $1,000s. I noticed using this hydrogen peroxide 3%, that cleaned my ears, that my ears are actually wired. I have wires, but it is so painful, so I cannot take it out. Why I jumped out of the bed 4 a.m. now is 4:20. I need to pick up like my laptop, because Paul Markovich, I created yesterday a video. Paul Markovich actually crucified me tonight. You know what it means, crucified, with nails. And he said following to me, now the next thing is just we're going to catch you and truly crucify you here with nails, and you will be there like a crucified. And how they're doing this, I just recorded yesterday evening, like using this stuff. I mean, this is like how I'm sleeping. This is actually a symbol of this atrocity that is done when humanoids and robots, artificial intelligence is created, and people alive like me are caught somewhere in the company. Like, for example, me, my path crossed with Paul Markovich's path. When he was vice president, he just came, being a manager. Before that, he was director. So he didn't have much of power. And he came as vice president to Blue Shield of California. He was so powerful, suddenly. He didn't know what to do with this. And I crossed my path, crossed with his path, And that destroyed my life completely. Now, how it is done, I just created like a video showing particles that are coming out of my head from here, from the neck. And these particles are used for quantum particle teleportation. They actually teleport me at the moment I fall asleep. Due to this part, they teleport me to the side where the torture is done. So they hypnotize me here. Ideally, if you would go, I have been used for developing social robot Sophia. If you see, you will see Sophia smiling, like a glowing. That is what they did to me. They would put me in smiling state. Why? Because my body is full of biosensors. So I was in bed once and I noticed like they hit me with specific frequencies. I always sleep every night, every day with air conditioning on. 18 degrees, because they hit me so much with microwave. And if you see like Sophia robot, she is full like of fans, because they need to cool her down. And this is the heat that I feel here, because Sophia robot and I, we are quantum entangled. We are connected actually, because with this like implants, this is very, very difficult concept to understand, but this is developed by Air Force, but DARPA, actually Air Force, was also developing this. And for me, for example, when I am there, it is absolutely the same as if I were like alive. And why I'm doing this everything, because I'm actually saving my life. If I did like remove this everything, I am actually saving my spine. And this is everything a symbol of this atrocity. When the people are caught alive and then rewarded, because I think his father was involved 2007. I have emails I sent to my husband, to my family here. Interpol should be involved. Behind this is Paul Markovich and his father, Stephen C. Markovich. Why would I be writing this? And I kept a journal at that point that I didn't understand at all. I think that his father actually got money for this, but they are rewarded. But imagine, put a value, monetary value on the brain that is abused, such horrible abuse for 11 years. My life is not worth a penny, but torture and abuse. What is the money that you put on this type of the torture? What is the money? Ask someone, hey, we are going now to take your life and we are going to put in the most horrible program that exists in this world. You will never be able to sleep. You close your eyes and we will start to torture you. So, due to teleportation, I didn't even need memory recall. He crucified me. And why crucified me? Because I found my old journal. And just to mention following, from 2007 to 2014, I never ever mentioned neither Blue Shield of California nor Paul Markovich. I was working at Alameda Alliance for Health when Conan technician, to my horror, came to my cubicle and said, Blanca is crazy and she needs to leave the company. Why? Because I didn't want to change the numbers. And I actually left Blue Shield of California. Why? Because there was a report that I created, and every time Markovich was like a boss of large group. There was like a small group, 7-Eleven, I still remember. They were a large group and then they didn't have so many contracts, so they slipped to the small group. And I called Sacramento Data Center. I said, you know what, the data are not clean enough. Let's start to clean them. And they said, okay. And then they said, no, you're not going to clean the data. But I say every time I open this report, I got first this 7-Eleven, all these companies that don't belong to large group. No, you're not going to clean the data. That are going to clean themselves. I say, I was database specialist, and if I know about anything that are databases are never going to clean unless you clean them. And they said, you are going to create report. I said, I am not going to create report. You are going to create report. I am not going to create report. And I left the company. I say, if you request this, and then they put like a such, imagine in evaluation, they put following. I had the meeting, that was one of rare meetings that I moderated. And one woman, my coworker, she was working always from home. You could hear the baby screaming, you know, if you're good, like with bosses, you can do whatever you want. And she said what she had to say. And she disappeared. You know, I didn't hear her anymore, but I didn't know that she disconnected. That was in evaluation. In my evaluation, she said, you have to take care when someone is there to ask constantly, are you still there? Are you still there? Imagine that point. But she had ID. She had ID of the meeting and she could call me. I'm just saying that there was nothing but this. How I am like a grimacing. That was very, very strange. Now I notice, yes, because they are fitting Sophia's face. Of course that she is making grimaces. Of course that I might be grimacing. And I'm not going to, but when I mentioned like a Blue Shield, what was going on was very, very weird. For example, COO Ken Woods. Someone said he was a very nice person, you know. Someone said he was the only nice person like there. I had the feeling now they really catch me and crucified me, you know. But I am going to tell. That is it. And Ken Woods, for example, he said like he was just waiting to be CEO. You know what is in Blue Shield? Paul Markovich will be CEO until the end of his life. Nothing will happen. What they are doing actually, they are Kaiser's leader. They are seeing, hey, how much Kaiser did increase this year, like these plans. Okay, it is much more complex than this, but more or less this is the same. They are actually oligopolies. There is no real like competition in the health insurance market. That is the reason why Trump said, hey, we need like a real competition. Maybe that will lower the cost of healthcare. Okay, I'm not going to go there, but Ken Wood suddenly wrote following. You know what? I am going like to resign. I am going to leave the company. I'm leaving the company. I'm so sorry. Bruce Budakin doesn't want to retire. Definitely this way. I said, wow, it's like a child. Of course, later I said, but Bruce Budakin is not going to retire. Why would he be, for God's sake, leaving $5 million like a bonus and salary yearly? this is not everything. That was so strange to me, that I checked on Ken Woods later. And what happened? He had like a great company called My Cash, My Way. And Paul Markovich had before that like a company that failed, My Health, My Way. I don't have Schadenfreude, but I said and wrote somewhere, you know what, Paul Markovich, you sold My Way for CEO position. I am not quite sure, knowing what I know now, if Ken Woods was really not brainwashed. Why I'm telling so? About the danger of nano dust and nanotechnology. I remember when I was working at Blue Shield of California, when my boss resigned from the same reason they wrote. She was very hardworking, very knowledgeable, 5-6 years there. But she left, resigned. Why? Because they wrote very bad evaluation for her. And I remember, I suddenly got sick, something like a flu. I still remember, I was 4 days, or 2 or 3 days, I don't know, several days. I was just laying there and I was thinking that I was going to die. And I still remember this. And I didn't know why, And later, 2015, I went to Australia and I didn't have money. I had to sell my apartment in Auckland. And I said to this guy, look, I am going now. I am leaving you the key. I still trusted people. I left food. I left everything like in the apartment. I said, I am leaving you this and I am going to come after a month. And if you are not selling, I am going to take it from the market. And he said, okay, he agreed. And he truly sold the apartment. And, but I had like a apartment relatively fine. I said, there is no staging needed, And he insisted that he does staging. He took my old furniture and put it into storage. I returned from Australia. I still remember I rented a car and everything was fine. I was feeling perfectly fine. Excellent. Now they returned furniture and I fall sick. I was like pretty much the same position. Actually, before that started, they told me following during the night. Now we are going to torture you and put like a glass, this, I don't know how to brook glass in your eyes. And I said to them, probably I was finding this very, very strange. But I said, you know what? Let's start torture immediately so that it ends earlier. And I said later, but this is like a quite stupid statement. Who would be saying so? I would be saying so. Why? Because they really tortured me during the night. And I really said they were torture sessions, And I would be saying, hey, but let's start then earlier so that it ends like earlier. And they said, nope, because I came from Australia. And next morning, I did wake up. I was completely like a sick. I had like the feeling that I had like a burning in my eyes. Why? Because in the furniture, there was probably nano dust, and they knew exactly how it feels when someone has nano dust in the eyes. And I remember that I had hardly like had energy. I was completely sick, and I returned like my car to Auckland Airport. And I didn't have the car because I had an accident before going to Australia, and I rented a car because I needed to move now from the apartment to apartment in Sacramento that I already bought because I bought it. Okay, and I went there to the Sacramento, and I was able to sleep well. It is about nano dust and dangers of nano dust, and I remember suddenly Blue Shield of California. Second thing, I would be smiling, they would hypnotize me into smiling. What happened? I was thinking, that is something with Paul Markovich. Paul Markovich is I could talk with Paul Markovich constantly for years. I even sent him an anonymous email. I said, let me sleep, because they started to be more and more brutal. Now they're so brutal. Of course that I'm going to fight for my life. Doesn't matter. I am going to tell the people what was happening. And what I wanted to tell, yes, that is very, very important thing. I started to smile actually when I came to Auckland. Actually, they started to hypnotize me during the night. Now, 2013, I resigned from company and I started to look for another job. And I got an interview with PG&E. And PG&E is just building across Blue Shield of California headquarters. I was smiling. I couldn't stop smiling, but it is hypnotic smiling. I'm hypnotized. I cannot stop smiling. I said, this is because Paul is like across. Just to let you know, I never ever had seen Paul Markovich alive since 2005, and I was working in Blue Shield of California. I was living in Oakland. His wife I never had seen in my life. I was so smiling. Now, next interview will be like with Wells Fargo, who is a little bit like a further than Blue Shield of California headquarters. I was smiling, but not that much. 2014, I had termites, from the neighbor. There was like a rain coming for years. I didn't even know this. I had like a larva of termites, so they actually poisoned me. But it is another story. What I did experience, that is nothing then compared to this. And I was going to one medical group in San Francisco, and they are there in Embarcadero. And I was on the Market Street, and I was like walking, and I was not thinking neither of Blue Shield and so on. I was swollen. I had like a poisonous shock during the night because they sprayed apartment, not even telling me. I was in the living room with a neighbor, and he left in the bedroom, and I didn't know what he did, but I did have like a poisonous shock that night. And I suddenly smiled, And I know when I'm smiling, someone is weird. Either I was thinking somehow Paul Markovich, God will know what is happening. I turned my head to the right. It was Beale Street. I was on the Market crossing Beale Street. I just slightly smiled, which was following. My smiling and hypnosis was correlating 100% from the distance of headquarters of Blue Shield of California. Next thing, I did go to LinkedIn. Actually, everything started 2015 when someone sent me a recruiting agency. Blue Shield is in need of senior manager of analytics. I still have email. 12 years experience I needed to apply for this, but 12 years of experience like a senior manager, so on. I went to LinkedIn, and to my astonishment, I did see that is now a modeling agency. Blue Shield of California was not anymore like a health insurance company. It was a modeling agency. What was astonishing is following. Some of the girls have this like a smiling face, like being hypnotized. I know it because I remember it from the time when I was hypnotized. Because I still have picture from 2007. And I have to say this is very, very scary. I don't know, like Paul Markovich screamed tonight, I have everyone is supporting me. I definitely know that Nancy Pelosi is supporting him. How would Obama not support him? Blue Shield of California is the biggest insurer of Obamacare. Are they nanoed people? Are they implanting people with nanotechnology and waiting for the time to strike them? I don't know. Judges, everyone is on my side. Let it be. Let it be.